Let's get perspective now from Michael Oren, the former Israeli ambassador to the United States. And ambassador, you've been sitting next to me watching this.
I don't know how you can go on after that. I don't know if I can. There's confusion. Why is there confusion? As Iris just said, we're dealing with a terrorist organization. Terrorist organizations do not negotiate in good faith. They move the football. They will play with the emotions of Israelis. They'll torture Israelis. It's part of their terror. It's actually part of their strategy. They want to divide the Israeli people by releasing some hostages but keeping other hostages. The Israeli government maybe has a list, but it doesn't want to let the list, even if it has the list, doesn't want to let the people know because they could change it. The Hamas could change it at the last minute. And what if you do with a family like that that's been informed the day before that their loved one, their child is getting out, but then all of a sudden he's not there? It's part of Hamas's strategy to terrorize. And it's, even now, they're letting out, say, 50 and getting 5 days of a ceasefire. And we've talked repeatedly about the danger of a ceasefire. It means basically Hamas gets away with mass murder if the ceasefire goes on. Hamas is going to use that period to lay more booby traps, to move equipment around, and it's actually going to cost Israel in terms of soldiers' lives. So you have to say a soldier's life versus a civilian's life. These decisions here are more excruciating than anybody could ever imagine.
So our reporters right now are hearing from people inside the Israeli government that they're not particularly concerned about this delay. It's just part of the process, working out the operational issues right now. Do you think the delay is a sign of something bigger than that?
I think the delay is what Hamas is about. Listen, we've had 4 hostages released already. We actually know how they get released. They go to the Egyptian crossing at Rafah. They're met by Israeli officers. They're brought to an Israeli hospital. All right, so it's not, this is not precedent. This is, excuse me, it's got bad use of term, but it's not rocket science. It's been done already. So you bring 10 children or 10 old people to the border and you do it. It shouldn't be that complicated. There's right, it's true, that Hamas doesn't have all the hostages. Some of them are in the hands of Palestinian Islamic Jihad. It's an organization totally owned and operated by Iran, but many are in the hands of families. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of Palestinians broke through the fence on October 7th with the terrorists. They took hostages. This is well known. They will then sell those hostages. They can sell them to Hamas, or they'll sell them directly to Israel or to a third party. But maybe Hamas doesn't know where they all are. That is definitely an issue. But Hamas itself is about torture. It's about terror, and that's what they're doing to Israeli society right now.
One of the aspects of the deal, and it's in writing, it was in the Israeli release last night that we had read to us and translated by Oren Lieber in real time from Hebrew to English, is that after this first 50 are released, if that goes according to plan, then if Hamas releases 10 hostages a day, Israel will abide by the pause in the fighting. Do you think that's dangerous, to give Hamas the opportunity to keep on turning over hostages?
It is, of course, dangerous.
But I think it's worth it.
But it's worth it. Israel has to, on one hand, defend itself, defend the country, restore its internal security, because we have 250,000 people who can't go back to their homes. We have a tremendous amount of homeless people, too. But you have to weigh that against the commitment of the Jewish state, the state of Israel, to always bring back prisoners. Now, I was in the Army for many years. My kids have been in the Army. And we know that when we send our children out to battle, if they, God forbid, fall prisoner, the state will do everything to get it back. It's part of our covenant with the state. So we're up against this terrible decision of security for our soldiers, but also living up to that covenant of bringing our hostages home. Again, historically, I don't know any government ever made decisions like that. Not much choice. But let's be clear about this. At the end of the day, Hamas will not release all the hostages for a very simple reason. Hamas knows once it releases the last 10 hostages, then Israel can then go into those tunnels, flood them with water, flood them with whatever flammable substances that we can find, and that will be the end of Hamas. So at the end of the day, a certain number of hostages, many soldiers, will be the get out of Gaza free card for Hamas.
Ambassador Michael Oren, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Good holiday. Good peaceful holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Right.
Next, more new reports.